let me first correct the impression of engineers not meeting the expectation. Engineers do meet expectation. Now, like you said, there are challenges. And the challenges are not far-fetched. First, there isn't the intentional government does not intentionally invest first in engineering education, in engineering projects and research. And those are the areas where you can strengthen the capabilities and capacity of the engineer. So there must be that investment. And unless there is investment, I mean intentional investment in all these areas, then we'll continue to have deficits in our infrastructure, and not due to the fault of the engineer. So we have engineers. You mentioned building collapse in the construction industry, and it's not just buildings that collapse; roads collapse as well. So we have a lot of failure in the infrastructure. I mean, the construction industry. But it's not because engineers have not been found to be at the bottom or to be responsible for all of that. One major issue is the fact that Nigerians generally believe more in the use of those who are not professionals. Or, I mean, because people have this erroneous impression that professionals are expensive, so they don't go to them. But we try to talk to them. The Nigerian Society of Engineers, a lot of times we try to sensitize the public with the collaboration of Current to tell people, to inform people of the importance of engaging professionals in all the projects. And because unless we do that, we'll continue to have failure. And then there is the control, the legal framework, which has to be strengthened by the government to ensure that indeed the job of the engineer is now heightened and is also made easier when there is control and there is policy implementation and all of that. So I think that the failures that we have are not due to the negligence or the incompetence of the Nigerian engineers. And we, on our part, do a lot to ensure that we improve the professional capacity of our members. We continually organize training for them. Like later today, we're going to launch a training, specialized skills training for young engineers in particular, because when we talk about sustainable development, we need to look at the future, and these are the people who will hold the future. So we are organizing training for them, and we are starting with cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Because you know that the new technologies now, artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, those are the things like the DG Nimasas just said. IT attracts the youth, and we want to prepare them as engineers. So we are doing that later today as our own way, of strengthening the base, the engineering base of the nation. So we need the government to be able to provide a better work environment, to provide a better legal framework, to invest more in research and development. Because without research and development, how do we develop these technologies that we have now to be able to put to use and to be able to harness the goods and services that we have to render as engineers?
When you talk about not having, people not using skilled professionals, are you worried about the fact that there's no, differentiation when you talk about engineers? I know that there's civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and all of that. But you see, we just say engineers. So you could get a mechanical engineer to come and construct a building for you, and then you have issues because there's this. We're not. You just mentioned now yes. You're having training for engineers. You're yes. not saying okay, we're having training for civil engineers. I mean, are you worried about the fact that, everybody just presents as engineers, not being specific about, their areas of expertise? Because, of course, that would help, curtail this issue of professionalism too. And then where to put square holes in square pegs, or square pegs in square holes.
That's why in Nigerian Society of Engineers, we do have institutions or divisions, as we call them, under the NSE, under the umbrella. We have chemical engineers, we have civil engineers, mechanical, electrical. His royalty here is a mechanical engineer. I'm a chemical engineer. Prof is an agric engineer. So we do in our register, we have them specified, okay, as categorized as engineers. However, the average person will just say an engineer. But when you have a project, we do know the people that are responsible for each project. You want to, when I was I'm talking about now. I want to talk about seeing expatriates as chief engineer. I did my IT industrial training with the NNPC, and for 6 months, at least the first one that I did was in 1983. I was on the rig. So I was in exploration, I was in production, I was in refinery. I did not see one expatriate. They were all Nigerian engineers, manning and running all those processes. So how come now, these days, in 2024, we now see expatriates? It's not the fault of the engineers. It's a government policy. It has more to do with the government. Because indeed, where engineers are encouraged, we need to be given the chance to build our capacity. And if you don't have the chance, you can't do that. So the average person will see engineer. But we do know that if you want to construct a house, for instance, or a building, then you need a structural engineer, you need a civil engineer, you need a mechanical engineer, you need an electrical engineer. A combination of so many. And if you go to the manufacturing sector, you go to the refinery, for instance, you need more of chemical engineers, and then mechanical and electrical and all of that. So we do know that, and that's why we insist that people, sometimes you can come to us. You can go to our website to see you would know who is an engineer. We have published on our website the list of registered people who are registered with the Nigerian Society of Engineers that we can refer when you have a project and all of that.